Like 15,000 people voted for Harambe. Harambe. This country has now been mourning the death of a gorilla longer than they ever mourned the death of any victim of police brutality. Think about that. Dude, I've been thinking of this stuff. I'm not surprised at all.
I wish I could say that I was surprised.
I really am not surprised.
The problem hasn't just started now. It's been going on.
You've always seen, like the elephant in the room, tension between people.
When people say that this election wasn't about race, that's a dead-ass lie.
I've always known that this country was full of asshole racist people. Affirmation of what I already knew. We're just not welcome here. We've never been welcome here. Even though we were brought here against our will.
I called my mom. First, it was, Donald Trump is president, long silence, sobbing, and then my mom said, I don't know what we're gonna do.
For me, as someone who's a deferred action childhood arrival, kind of a temporary legal status, my time in the US is limited. I've been living in fear for the past 17 years. This is nothing new to me.
We had immigrated from Venezuela, my mom and my grandmother. They had already lived through a demagogue rising to power. That's like one of the reasons we came to this country. To have someone so similar be re-elected, to her it was bringing back all these memories that she had already gone through that she thought she wouldn't have to deal with here.
I'm the RA for Diversity Housing, Mosaic House. For my residents, there's some facet of their identities being challenged. People mentioned they were considering taking off their hijabs, passing us straight again. That was terrifying.
I'm just as American as everyone else. Now that Trump has become president, people are like, hey, we have a legitimate medium, kind of have someone to back us up. People are starting to get more vocal. People that are against Trump are very vocal. People for Trump are very local.
It's come to fruition when people yell violent things at people of color and marginalized people for no reason other than they're just exuberant that they now feel validated with their garbage ass opinions.
I think it's really important for white people to sit down and listen.
Don't question how people feel.
Who are they to question whether or not you are allowed to be scared? If you're being called out saying you're overreacting or you need to calm down. I had a white man tell me to calm down in class because it wasn't that bad. He was callous. He didn't care that minorities were going to suffer.
You have minorities themselves even questioning if what awful things have happened to them were really as awful as they think. If you ever feel uncomfortable, that's valid enough. That means that there was something there.
People are getting up to talk about organizing and actually doing things. Meanwhile, the black people on campus and other multicultural organizations also, we've been having these kinds of discussions. We've been having race talks, having talks about how to be a better ally. We've been having these conversations and all these white people gathered here, I don't recognize any of them because they don't show up. You can't just talk shit. Like, you have to actually stand up and do something. Don't come over here and tell me, oh, I want to give you a hug, love Trump's hate, but then you're sitting at the dinner table with your parents that voted for Trump and you don't want to say anything to them. It's up to white people to fix this problem because white people created this problem.
I think white people really need to look at themselves, neighbors, their parents, their community, and call them out. Because as minorities, if we do that, we're seen as inciting problems, oh, we're pulling the race card. So I think it's really important that white people look at themselves, figure this shit out, because you're not going to suffer as much as immigrants, Muslims, black people, people of color. I'm not going to stop fighting. I'm going to keep being proud of my Latino heritage. I'm going to speak Spanish. It's a political act. I'm not going to let a man take that away from me or his supporters. But I think white people really need to look at themselves and see how the fuck you can get out of this mess. Because we're doing everything we can. And we're even doing more. So it's time for them to step up, honestly.
And the only way that I'm going to believe that you care is if you show up, if you show out, if you talk to your parents, talk to your friends, talk to your cousins. Because they're not going to listen to me because I'm not a person to them. I don't have feelings. I'm just not a person. They're gonna listen to you because you look like them, and because you look like them, you are able to actually have an opinion of any kind.
It's time for white people to wake up. Why can't you listen to people of color? White people need to shut up a little bit more and listen a lot more. Realize that people of color, we live this. We live racism in America. We've been working for hundreds of years to try and fix this problem. White people who supposedly are our allies need to start calling out their friends who might have voted for Trump, those who didn't vote at all. They need to start calling them out when they say racist things. I have a friend, one of his friends got into a Facebook argument with me, and I texted him, tell him to stop because I will ether him on this Facebook post. I will destroy his life. Man, I'm not really trying to get into that. I'm gonna leave it to you. Hell no, dude. You need to be the one doing this. Stop being complacent. Start acting. Start doing what I've been doing for years, what people of color have been doing since birth. White people need to realize that this problem is systemic, and this problem is every white person's problem.
Understand that maybe you don't feel like you're you're a racist, but you can oppress people in day-to-day life. Instead of making it about you and about how this is not what you want, listen to us because we have a lot to say.